Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the latest generation for the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Redeye. It's finished off in Summit White, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features for this family style muscle car. So if we can find the hood latch there, let's start off with what powers this Hellcat. So underneath the hood is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 797 horsepower, 707 pound-feet of torque, sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 4,500-pound muscle car from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 203 miles an hour. Now, as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking right around 13 miles per gallon in the city and 22 out on the highway. Not all that bad considering the performance that you get from this car. So let's work our way to the exterior styling now. The front end of this is basically designed for maximum airflow. There's a grille in the lower section that goes side to side. The entire middle section there goes from the headlight housing to headlight housing, and then the two snorkels up in the hood. What I love though is that the turn signal / DRL is actually hollow on both sides. So there's additional cooling through those inlets to provide even more cooling for that V8. So it really doesn't have a stylish design to it. It's more functional for all of that airflow. Still retains a good look though. The entire upper section is sunken in, so it gives it a little bit different of a vibe with some nice lines extending from those hood inlets, which I think is really cool. So they're going for functionality as well as having the massive lower splitter there to give it a cool, aggressive vibe. Now for the side, this gets a set of 20-inch wheels with the 5-spoke design. They're finished off in matte black, which is a good combo against this white. There's the Hellcat logo with the Redeye just behind that. This has body colored side mirrors, and then nothing too crazy for the side. Very nice flowing lines. There's nothing too aggressive on it. You can get the wide body, which would give you another 2.5–3 inches on each side. So without the wide body, just doesn't look quite as aggressive. If you're going with a Hellcat, I think you have to go with the wide body design. Now for the rear, this has a matte black spoiler. There's also a camera system, LED taillights. All the parking sensors are in that lower section. And this has the dual exhaust, which let's go ahead and take a listen to. It sounds really good. You will hear this once we get it out on the road, along with that supercharger whine. Well, let's move on to the cargo space. I can use the button like I just did on the key fob, or use the hidden button that's up underneath here. And then for the size of this vehicle, you're really not sacrificing anything to have a two-doored vehicle. You have plenty of trunk space. You can even fold down the back seats for even more storage. And you have a little bit underneath the floor. There's access to the battery, tire inflator kit. You have a decent amount of space if you still want a two-doored vehicle. Now, as we work our way to the interior, you can't just walk up to it and it'll unlock. You can use that black button there to lock it once you walk away. Now for this Hellcat, you get leather and Alcantara along with all the stitching, the Alpine sound system, split design for the storage. So a little bit in the rear, a little bit in the front there, some nice trim accents for that release handle. And these seats get Alcantara and leather with the SRT Hellcat logo. Very, very nice design. Now, as we work our way to the back seats, it won't actually move forwards for you, so you do have to use that automatic adjustment. You have the manual release there to move or adjust that backrest. Now, at 5'10", I could perfectly be fine with two other people next to me here. It's pretty spacious. This is a 5-seater muscle car, so you have a lot of space. You have an armrest in the middle along with two cup holders if you don't have a middle passenger, and a good amount of visibility with those windows. There's also climate adjustments, so that way you can get some airflow into the back. So it's pretty practical if you have other full-size adults that you're wanting to put in the other seats. And this is a low vehicle, so it's easy to get in and out of. And then let's fire this Hellcat back up. And we can look at the steering wheel, which is solid and perforated leather with some trim accents in the lower section. Cruise control is on the right side. Bluetooth and voice commands are on the left side, along with all these adjustments to go through the digital gauge cluster. So you'll see the tach on the left side, miles per hour is on that right side. And then right in the middle, it's currently showing miles per hour. And then you have a lot of vitals that you can go through just depending on what you need to pull up. So you have a lot there, along with the performance tab page, where you can go through all of your timers, your braking, your G-force meter. Pretty cool to see for a factory vehicle. Now there's the fuel economy, which isn't too important, trip information, your audio and messages, and you have a screen set up so you can configure this just depending on what is most important to you. And then we have any diagnostics and the speed warning there. Now, being the automatic, it has the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, still retains volume and tuning just underneath those paddles, which is nice to see. Now on the left side, all the headlight, dimmer switch adjustments, even the release for the trunk, and this still has the foot brake down below. And then right in the middle, we have the infotainment system with a lot more to go through. There's the media, climate adjustments, so you can quickly go through all of those. You can even go to the heated and ventilated seats along with the heated steering wheel. There are so many different apps that you can go into. You can even drag and drop these into the lower section. So if you use these the most, you have a quick shortcut to them. Under driving modes, you can look at track, sport, and a custom setting. And then if we go back, you have the shift light for launch control, so you can monitor that. There's even a chiller, which directs all of the AC to the engine to help cool it down further. You can even go into the performance pages here, where you do have a little bit more info to go through. One downside to it is that it does take a little bit of time. And after probably 30 seconds, here is that screen where you can monitor some of those items. You can go into the timers to look at all of that. There's different gauges to monitor, G-force meter that you can pull up, and then you have a few engine vitals and diagrams that you can look at. So it's nice to see all of that. Different race options too for your line lock, chiller like I mentioned earlier, even your shift lights and your race cool down. So it's pretty awesome to see all of that for a factory vehicle. And then you have all of your daily driving comforts like your climates, you have the heated steering wheel, mirror, everything like that that you can go into. You can even pull up the navigation, and then there's various settings that you can adjust as needed. Now underneath, there's power and volume for the radio, as well as tuning, a shortcut to SRT. There's even a shortcut to launch control. There's traction control, the parking sensors, which of course you can turn on and off. And then you can turn that screen on and off if you'd like to as well. Now there's physical buttons for the climate adjustments, so you don't have to be in that upper screen in order to adjust those. And then as we take a look at the backup camera now, very nice graphics for that system. You can even shift using the shifter itself or the paddle shifters like I mentioned earlier. There's two cup holders behind that, and then in the center armrest, you have some auxiliaries so you can charge even more electronics, which is nice to have. And then there is plenty of storage in that glove box. You will notice a sunglass holder up top. There's also the dome lights just in front of that. And then a look at visibility from the driver's seat here. Pretty open, a little bit of a pillar there, but it's nothing that you can't see around easily. So let's go ahead and get the Hellcat out on the road. And here we go with another acceleration. I'm sure you can hear that through the audio there, that supercharger whine. Definitely pretty cool. So basically $80,000 you're spending for this American muscle car. That's one of the most practical, one of the most highest in performance as far as the actual horsepower and torque numbers, and a pretty good daily driver. You can absolutely daily drive this two-doored coupe and just have it in a normal setting. Now if I go back to SRT, I have been in the auto mode, so let's put it into a track mode for the remaining of this drive. Now that doesn't do anything. As far as the exhaust note, I can hear some of the cracks and pops in the exhaust, which is nice. But it doesn't make it louder, which would be cool to see. Or to hear, I should say. but it's nice that it's refined in a way that you can drive this every day. There's not a lot of road noise, not a lot of wind noise, anything like that. So, I mean, you could drive this from point A to point B, and then when you're ready, push on a few buttons and take this on some back roads, possibly. I don't have too much experience with these on twisty roads, but you have a lot of power to those rear wheels, so not gonna be quite as nimble as some other brands. But it definitely gets up. I love how quick these paddles are, and while they are just the upper section there, it's not really all that bad to get used to, so it is nice to see that. So 80 grand for the Challenger. Like some other people have commented, I can't agree with some of the interior materials, although we have leather, Alcantara. You know, there's plastic on the dash, which would be nice to see that updated in some newer models. Hopefully they do come out with the next gen Challenger and they don't go away from the supercharged V8, because Dodge has been one of the only companies to really offer that in a lot of their models, and to hopefully keep that American true NA or combustion engine alive. Hopefully they will do that for the next year and maybe update the interior just slightly. But that's going to wrap it up for the latest generation for the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Redeye. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website. That link is down in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.